The Dallas Cowboys Pepsi Postgame Show. Pepsi, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, here's Zach Wolchuk and Bryan Broaddus.
Cowboys are 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line of New York, coming right to left in the white shirts. Prescott's under center, fakes it to Pollard, gives a reverse to Lamb, block on the edge. Lamb will walk the dog, which is quite a sight, a Lamb walking the dog, but touchdown Dallas.
You're darn right. It's a beautiful sight. 49-17. Cowboys beat the New York Giants. They improved to 6-3 on the year and 12 straight. That home cooking here at AT&T Stadium. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Bryan Broaddus as we party with you in the Miller Lite Club following a Cowboys victory. Oh, how sweet it is. What a beautiful feeling. A lot clicking today, Bryan. Offensively, Dak was brilliant today. Threw for 404 yards while completing 74% of his passes in this win. It's his 7th career game with at least 400 passing yards and 70% completion percentage, which is tied for the 2nd most such games, not in Cowboys history, but in NFL history. Brandon Cooks got it going. We were calling for that. CeeDee Lamb sets an NFL record. You got a Jake Ferguson touchdown. The running game looked much better. Oh, my goodness, there was a lot to like. And they should have blown the doors off this team, but they still got to go out and do it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And that's the thing you always worry about. And we always talk about the NFL. One of my sayings is the NFL is a strange lady. And you never know. You never know when you're going to run across a team that's going to play above the level of where they're at. And Dallas, by all means, going into this game, Dallas had the advantage in almost every position. And the fact that the Giants were starting a rookie quarterback, that's you don't worry about those things. You're right. You have to go out and you have to play. Mike McCarthy did a great job calling plays today. Dak did a great job executing the plays. The offensive line, it looked like to me that when, we maybe heard there might be some different scheme things that we'll need to look at in the running game. I think Rico Dowdle gives them that little bit more, that power. They did a great job. They wore the Giants down. All the 3 and outs that the Giants suffered. Their defense was on the field. They were taxed a lot. And the Cowboys took complete advantage of that, of wearing them down in this game, running the ball, throwing the ball. The Giants had no pass rush in this game. And that, you're going to win on the outside, is with the quality receivers. It was nice to see Cooks get things going. I think Cooks has been running routes all year.
Yeah.
Today it was a day where the ball just happened to be where he needed to be, and you were able to take advantage of that. So good all around on the defense, limited in the rookie quarterback, not letting anything happen big there, but taking advantage of a secondary that was going to give up a lot of plays.
877-881-1053 is the number to call. The number to text, 877-881-1053. The official postgame show of your Dallas Cowboys, brought to you by Pepsi, made for Cowboys watching. In today's game between the Giants and the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium is brought to you by Ford. Ford is the best in Texas. You mentioned that rushing attack, 168 yards combined as a team on the ground. You got 79 from Rico Dowdle on 12 carries. He averaged 6.6 yards a touch. Also had that rushing touchdown. Tony Pollard today, 15 for 55, averaging 3.7. But I will say, Bryan, while you still haven't seen necessarily that burst, that breakaway elite speed that made him so special last year, I think he had maybe some of his best runs of the season today.
Had some lanes today, and it could be difficult to run the ball inside on Dexter Lawrence and this group with the Giants. I felt like the perimeter game was going to be part of the running package, and it was. The Giants don't have great team defensive speed, and so they can't get guys to the outside fast enough. And that's the thing. Inside running was going to be a little bit tougher. We saw Pollard; he was able to hit. It looked like today the ball was able to go. They attacked, say, the right side, and then the ball was able to break back a little bit more behind what we usually see with Broaddus. I think he did a pretty nice job. At Dexter Lawrence, Zach Martin, we talk about, we interview Zach every week on 105.3 The Fan on the G-Bag Nation on our show, our weekly radio show, and with him. And he was even talking about Dexter Lawrence and what a difficult time it is to block. But they did a good job of creating some opportunities, creating some lanes. making some good things happen up front.
Yeah, you and I looked at each other up in the press box. Hey, what seems to be the difference? And, you could tell, especially on some of their slants, they were just getting a lot more push.
Yes.
In unison together, left to right. Tyron Smith, again, I believe carried over his performance from a week ago, which was one of his best games, I think, in recent memory against the Eagles. You could see Tyler Smith as well getting movement. He's probably been the one consistent guy that's got movement, but absolutely from that right side, Broaddus, Martin, and then even Steele. Thibodeau, of course, to your point, left the game with a concussion, didn't play in the second half. But you wanted to see this running game start to get a little bit of traction against a defensive front that traded away Leonard Williams to the Seattle Seahawks.
Right.
You mentioned Dexter Lawrence, but this was a team maybe they should have some success against. The other thing we had talked about leading up to this one and have talked about in the postgame was, where's Brandon Cooks? And I know Mike McCarthy dropped the line. This isn't fantasy football, but from the first snap, Dak Prescott, looking at Brandon Cooks, hits the slant, and it was on. 9 catches, 173 yards for Brandon Cooks today. He had over 100 in the first half. Also had that touchdown on 10 targets, his long of 37. Bryan, we've been saying it. You go back, and I know people might roll their eyes because we say it a lot in the post. You watch the tape. You watch the All-22. Brandon Cooks is getting open.
He does.
Things just haven't quite worked out. People will text in or they'll call and say, man, Brandon Cooks just doesn't fit the offense. No, that's not the case. Brandon Cooks showed he's still a hell of a football player today.
Today he ran very similar routes that he's been running during the season. We've seen the crossing stuff. We've seen the deep over is another one. He can create separation. It's a matter of the line being able to protect and give Prescott the opportunity to find him in the progression. And so, yeah, it's anytime that you could get the ball to Brandon Cooks, he is going to find ways to make plays. Run after catch is outstanding. The vertical game is outstanding. The deep over, as I mentioned, it's just been, I really personally feel like watching it, there's been some bad luck when it comes to him and his routes and stuff. And, and CeeDee Lamb, 3 straight games.
Gosh.
So, if Brandon Cooks is not getting the ball, but CeeDee Lamb is getting the ball, well, that's proven just to be just as an effective play right there.
Yes.
So, hats off to Dak. I think he's doing a great job of seeing the field. Now, the interception he had today, the corner flock.
I don't think he saw.
I don't think he saw Flock.
That
it
way.
seemed like Flock was kind of dropping. And those are the interceptions that you're worried about with Dak Prescott. You're worried about the ones where he doesn't see the guy. But overall, man, that's the only throw I feel like, though, that, if he could have back a throw, that would be the one that he would probably. But ball was where it needed to be really all day today. And he rewarded the receivers with good balls. They were able to finish a lot, and it all around just a great effort and a great job of finishing against the secondary that you needed to punish, and they punished.
And you mentioned CD. 11 catches for 151 yards. He sets an NFL record in the Super Bowl era with his 3rd consecutive game of 10 catches and 150 yards. There's been 8 other players in the history of the sport with a 2-game streak. CeeDee Lamb, the first in NFL history to do that 3 consecutive games. Absolutely unbelievable. And, to have the game that he had and Brandon Cooks, and then you get Michael Gallup. I talked to you at halftime. Hey, Gallup's the only one really. These playmakers didn't have a target yet. You could see maybe some of the snaps. We talked about it last week with Tolbert take some. Jalen Brooks getting involved in the offense, the rookie with his first career NFL catches. And then you hit the big home run ball down the sideline for Michael Gallup, and maybe that's the confidence he needs to get going as well.
Well, it was nice to see. Michael Gallup very well could have went to the sidelines and sulked and done all these things and not run his routes hard and not try and finish and all that. But I'll tell you this, Michael Gallup is one of the best I've seen when it comes to being near the sidelines, not having a lot of room, high pointing a ball or tracking a ball, down when it's a long throw. And Dak put it right where it needed to be. Michael was able to adjust along the sidelines, make the touchdown reception there. But he very well could have just sat the rest of this game out, and he didn't do that. He kept fighting, he kept battling, and it was nice to see him get a couple of big plays in this game and get himself on the stat sheet, because the first half, I'm sure when we watch it and we're like, okay, he was open there, Cooks got the ball, okay, he was open there, Lamb got the ball, oh, he was open there, Ferguson got him the ball, got the ball there.
Yeah.
So it was Dak really finding ways to get everybody involved in the situation today.
Yeah, I think it's time. we're getting a lot of texts about it, and we'll open up that conversation maybe a little bit later on as we're with you until 9:30 here Central Time. But Dak Prescott may be playing the best football of his career. Through 4 games now, he's thrown for 1,354 yards, 12 touchdowns to just 2 picks. He's also got 90 yards on the ground and a couple of TDs. His passer rating's at 125. Look, that final drive last week, it's frustrating. And I was frustrated along with the fan base. It's not all on the quarterback for that situation. We've seen that now. Maybe we look at the sideline. Offensive line had some false starts. Udoga's not checking in. There was a multitude of different things. But
you heard Udoga check in today.
Yeah, today he checked in, right?
Checked in
before
today.
that touchdown to Ferguson. They've corrected that issue.
Brad Rogers let us know he checked in today.
But Dak is playing phenomenally well.
Yeah.
The last 4 games, and people asking, hey, is it time to put number 4 in the MVP conversation? I'm sure there'll be people that will say yes. I'm sure there'll be people that say no. You can let us know your thoughts on that, 877-881-1053, as the quarterback of America's team continues to set records, as this was his 4th touchdown game today, 4 touchdown passes, 3rd career game with over 400 yards and 4 passing scores. That's a franchise record, and he is now tied for the 8th most games all time with that type of stat line. Pretty darn incredible for QB1 of your Dallas Cowboys, Mr. Dak Prescott. Let's go ahead and pause 10 seconds to allow stations to identify themselves across the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Your turn it on, leave it on. Home of America's team is 105.3 The Fan.
Hello, baby.
KRLD FM and HD1, Dallas Fort Worth.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
49-17 Cowboys over the Giants. Haven't even highlighted the defense much. Certainly, yes, they gave up that last touchdown. Giants were able to put up 17, but for the most part, run defense was smothering. You saw Mozzie Smith get back-to-back stops as well.
Sure did. Yeah, and it was good to see Mozzie be involved, and even Hankins get involved. They did a really nice job of taking advantage of the rookie inside, with John Michael Smith and then Pugh, and it was just a struggle, all day for this Giants offensive line. There was just several times where you see DeVito having to, and DeVito is DeVito's going to hold the ball for 1 second. If his read's not there, he's going to run. And the Cowboys were able to chase him down. You saw that right there. That's a team with defensive speed. The Giants are the complete opposite of that, but really great job of the Cowboys just not allowing the Giants to get anything. Down the field, DeVito trying to get the ball underneath. They rallied. They made tackles. They contested balls today. DeVito got 14 completions today for 86 yards. I'd say that's just an outstanding a day for the Cowboys in the secondary, and a great job of getting pressure on the rookie quarterback.
Yeah, 5 sacks today for the Cowboys. You had Dorrance with 1, Sam Williams with 1. How about Neville Gallimore? I thought the defensive tackles, we mentioned Mozzie and Hankins. D tackles really just had a great day all the way around, minus maybe the defensive holding they got on Osa in the second half. A big run there for Barkley, but Deron Bland as well. I put out there, I think it was towards the end of the 3rd quarter, and the only thing really missing from this blowout game was a Micah sack, and then Deron Bland picked 6. And then boom, right on cue, here's Deron Bland with his 10th interception, most in the NFL since last season.
Yeah.
Wasn't a pick 6, but that guy just finds the football, especially here at AT&T Stadium.
Great job of tracking the football. And, now the Cowboys record since the Diggs injury is 4-3. And, man, just imagine, but that's what we do, and that's what we can do on a post-game show, is imagine, though, if with Diggs, Gilmore, and then Bland playing in the slot. We'll see what happens with Jordan Lewis. He was hurt late in this football game. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. He was in the medical tent, as Christy Scales reported. We'll see if it's a concussion, shoulder. I'm sure we'll figure out all this stuff this week. But, man, I'll tell you what, these corners, when you start to talk about Bland, he's so competitive. He has an awareness of where to position himself to get the ball, and he stays in outstanding position. He's a hard guy to get away from. People will double move him, and that seems to be where he has the most because of how aggressive he can be, but he could turn and rally when he has to.
Similar to Diggs in that regard, right? Yep. It's kind of the way that they play. That double move, teams might be able to have success, but short-term memory, that guy battles, man, and he certainly does tackle. Tied for the team lead in tackles with 4 alongside Damone Clark. Another guy that flashed early in this one, and I think was getting maybe the most snaps that he has as a Cowboy, was Rashaan Evans. And I looked over
Yes.
at you and was like, damn, Rashaan Evans is a big dude. He filled the hole nicely on that first drive for the Giants. I think it was him and Bland came in, made a tackle on that second down as they were in the shadow of their own end zone. But Rashaan Evans, as we await the future this season of Leighton Vander Esch, looked like he could fill in nicely.
Well, I'll tell you what, he had to do something because last week, on a kickoff that's out of the end zone and you're ripping someone's face mask off their head and their
Bonehead
helmet
penalty.
and you're getting an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty there. He did a good job. He's always going to be a guy that plays with some anger to him. And then, that's the thing that you got to like about it. But he's going to get more opportunity. I think he got some more opportunity today, too, Zach, because of Bell being nicked up a little bit. But
that's a great
Britt Brown, coach, the training staff, everybody, the player did a great job of taking a calf. We've seen this calf injury stuff turn into like somebody missing all of training camp, like Donovan Wilson, calf injury. So when you heard that, I was like, ooh, this could be a little shaky. But credit to the player, credit to Britt Brown, the training staff, for getting Bell ready to play this game.
Amen to that. Your calls, your texts, 877-881-1053. We got Coach Mike McCarthy talking at the podium now. We will bring that to you, plus Dak Prescott, the voice of your Cowboys, Brad Sham. The post-game party just getting started here in the Miller Lite Club. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Every moment,
by the defense.
And Hyatt's shaken up. He's up slowly.
Dallas.
First takeaway of the day for Dallas.
Deron Bland's 5th interception of the season, as Brad Sham told you there, tying his single-season career high that he set as a rookie last year. And as I mentioned in the opening segment of the post-game show, Bland now 10 interceptions since the start of 2022. That's the most in the National Football League. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Bryan Broaddus here in the Miller Lite Club at AT&T Stadium following a 49-17 Cowboys victory over the New York Giants. Cowboys have now won 12 straight here at home, and they improved to 6-3 on the season as a home win over an inferior opponent in the Giants, but they took care of business and did what they needed to do, firing on all cylinders, especially on offense, with Dak Prescott having quite the day and the defense holding the Giants. I mean, Tommy DeVito's stat line, 14-27, 86 yards, did somehow finish with those 2 touchdown passes, the first in his NFL career, had the interception, but you know, as a team, Barkley just 86 yards rushing, DeVito added 41 yards rushing. I think if we had a concern, it was maybe like what Josh Dobbs did to you in the Arizona game. Now he's playing great for Minnesota, but it was running around for DeVito, and that really didn't end up being an issue today for the Cowboys.
I thought they might try and turn this into a college game where all of a sudden it's some read option stuff. They went Wildcat a couple of different times with motioning DeVito out, then direct snap to Barkley, and then try to run the ball. So there were some elements of a college game today. I mean, they weren't the one shot they took down the field was intercepted. You know, other than that, it was a lot of flat pass and, you know, try and move the pocket a little bit. But you got a guy that's like, you know, you're working against Dan Quinn and you're working against a group that's really good playing man coverage, and it gives you a lot of different looks with blitz packages and things like that. It was going to be tough for DeVito to have to navigate all that. But I thought they were going to try and run the ball a little bit more. You know, in the second half, they found something, and maybe that's because the game was 28-0 at that point. And you know, but that drive that they had to score their first touchdown was actually something I kind of felt like that they were maybe going to do to start the game. But they just really couldn't get anything going. Every time they dropped back, the pressure, their offensive line was just so compromised at several different spots. It wasn't just one or two spots. It was like 3 or 4 spots. You know, then Andrew Thomas goes out for a little bit, and they have to kick Pugh to the outside, and you know it just was a big struggle for them today. But tip of the cap though to the Cowboys and Dan Quinn, and you know having a game plan, not letting the quarterback's legs beat you, and then making sure that everything's secure down the field. And then when the ball was thrown to the flat, make sure you had a defender there.
Your calls, your texts, 877-881-1053. Brought to you by WinStars, the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. WinStar knows what it means to be a star with over 10,000 of your favorite electronic games. The all-new 2-story WinStar Spa and Cascades, our luxury pool complex. WinStar really is the place to feel like a star. Please game responsibly. Did get a text from our buddy Mike in Caddo Mills from the 469. Can we possibly see Dowdle as more of that power back moving forward?
To me, if the offensive line – and the Giants were giving up about 4.5 yards a carry coming into this game. They were one of the teams that was near the bottom. I think they were 25th. This is something you could stack on, and then next week we'll see. You know, we'll get into Carolina's breakdowns. We'll look at their metrics, where they play, how they play their run defense. I just feel like the next couple of weeks you need to find a way to get some traction. And, you know, McCarthy, we're starting to hear some whispers that maybe that they were going to do some scheme things differently. You know, instead of the outside zone stuff, that maybe that they were going to, maybe you'd see some pin and pull, or maybe you would see, today it was really clear to me that the ball going to the edge, the toss. Remember how many times they ran the toss?
Yes.
So they're thinking,
seems like a better fit for Tony Pollard.
It's a better fit for Pollard, kind of getting him there. But the thing with Rico Dowdle, and you talk about the power back, I just think Rico Dowdle's a good back.
Yeah.
I mean, and to me, it's almost like last year when you're watching, when the offensive line was having some struggles, and Zeke was running the ball for 4 yards a carry, and Tony Pollard was running it for 5.5, and you could see that extra little bit of the difference. That's kind of where we're at right now. Tony's trying his best to and through the hole, but the thing with Rico, he's 2 through the hole, and then with power to finish that thing off. So the more carries that you can get with him, could be something that could be very beneficial for the Cowboys' offensive line and running game going into the future.
877-881-1053. Another question from the 845 in regards to Jordan Lewis. And hopefully Jordan Lewis, it's not a serious injury. No report yet, but he did get banged up at the end there. But a question about Israel McQuammen or even Wanye Thomas maybe fitting inside at the slot there for Jordan Lewis.
I'll tell you what, I'm glad that Wanye Thomas got some burn today. When we talked about him during the week, the preparation on 105.3 The Fan, the flagship station of the Dallas Cowboys, we talked about, could Wanye Thomas be a guy? And, man, he had a shot at interception. I mean, he could have finished that thing off, in the end zone, that one route that he was taking to the corner.
Yes.
I love Wanye Thomas. I love his ability to tackle. I love his ability to be physical when he has to. And I think he's got that kind of skill, that ability to play that coverage. If you carry him up the sidelines, you carry him up the field, he's got the ability to go and run with his man. So, that's where I think that we need to see more of Wanye Thomas.
I agree.
In these games. If you're going to give me an opportunity to have a guy that's physical on the back end, that can cover and can finish, I'm going to try and get that guy out on the field. And he's a smart, tough guy. He's your personal protector on the punt team. He's the guy that he calls out the scheme. He counts them off. He sends the protection one way or another. You're not a dumb guy doing that kind of stuff.
No, not at all.
It's not just counting. You got to find a way to know and understand what the scheme's about to happen.
It's funny you bring that up, and we're about to have Brad Sham, the voice of your Cowboys, sit down and join us here. But we talked about Sam Williams as the gunner again.
Yeah.
And the punt returner, that was a funny moment there. You were telling me, where the hell did you come from?
It was hilarious that the punt returner was and I forgot the guy, Shaughnessy or so.
It's something like that,
What's number 80, right? 80.
Gunner Oshewski.
Yeah, Gunner takes the fair catch.
Yeah.
He takes the fair catch, and Sam Williams is standing right there. And Gunner looks at him and goes, "Where did you come from?" And you see Sam Williams turn and point outside from I came from all the way over there. So here's this guy bearing down on number 54.
Amazing.
And he's like, how did you get down here?
Man.
So, yeah, it was kind of a funny little moment. Right
It was.
there.
It really, really was. Okay, let's go ahead. 877-881-1053. More of your calls, more of your texts. I did bring this up when it came to, Dak maybe playing some of the best football of his career right now. Some of the texts that came back, yes, Dak does need to be in the MVP conversation. No MVP talk. Just you got to go out there and win. He beat a broken Giants team. Relax on the MVP talk.
There's the Dak haters coming out now.
So a little bit split here. Yeah. Some are actually leaning, yes, Dak does deserve to be in that conversation. Others feeling like, no, why don't you beat a winning team first, and then we can have that talk.
No, you know what? There's going to be. This poor guy is not going to win.
No,
he's not going to win. And the people who the last several weeks, the folks that are a big fan of his are riding the train going forward, and the Dak haters are like, this is bad football. They're playing against bad teams. They're not making play. I don't know, man. I see the ball going down the field to Lamb. I see him manipulating defenses. I don't know. I mean, hey. You're talking to a guy that could be critical of Dak. It's hard to be critical about the way he's playing right now. It really is.
He's been absolutely fantastic. Joined now by the voice of your Dallas Cowboys, the great Brad Sham. And Brad, just to carry that conversation over to you, and then of course, always love to get your takeaways and what stood out to you from a 49-17 Cowboys win. But I mean, we're looking at some of these numbers. You've called every single one of Dak's games. Is this some of the best football he's played in his career?
Yes, I think so. I think especially considering. Zach, I mean, he was really good his rookie year.
He was.
And the expectations were low. And I don't think also that they gave him some freedom. But, Brian, maybe you'll agree with me on this. I don't think they asked him to do too much.
No, he had a 1,600-yard back, and that helped a lot.
That's exactly right.
But I'll tell you what, I don't know many guys that have ever been a rookie and gone to Pittsburgh and won.
And Green Bay.
And Green Bay in the same year.
Right. No, I'm with you, and that's why
I think the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, I haven't seen many of them.
But that's why I think we knew he was good.
Right.
Now, as he grows in his career, what you expect is someone who can carry the load, and that's where I think he's better now. That's why, Zach, I would say yes to your question. And I think it's really important for them psychologically, McCarthy didn't want to talk anything about this. He's into his trimesters.
Yeah.
I think he's in the second trimester. Yeah. This, to me, is a really important 4-game stretch.
Right.
They could have beaten Philadelphia. I don't agree that they should have. They could have. And there were some things they didn't do well enough. But what they proved, that San Francisco game still leaves a mark. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah.
So they had to go to Philadelphia and prove that they could play with them. And they did that. And now they have this 4-game stretch. And this one was just a game where the other team wasn't good enough. And they've got that again next week. And, you had to feel sorry for Tommy DeVito at some point. But although I asked McCarthy this question and he did not agree with me, I thought we saw a little bit of what Ben DiNucci went through when he was a rookie.
Yeah.
And so, okay, and you're compromising the offensive line. So that's why the first quarter was so disappointing to me. Why, when you're at the 5-yard line, 1st and goal, and you don't get in, no, that's not what you're here to do today. So then once they got into the second quarter and got some rhythm, then you started to see Prescott do, Zach, what you're talking about. And then they're working things down the field. I thought it was a great play call on the first touchdown. Schoonmaker gave him a great block. And all of those things are important. They had to do this today. And they need Prescott to be playing the way he is. And he's got to do it again next week. And they're going to need him at a high level against Washington. And that's a game they have to win.
Yes.
And they're going to need him at a high level against Seattle.
Yes.
And that's a game that they have to win. And then we'll see where they are when the Eagles come in December.
Brad, I don't know about you, and you've seen a lot more football than me. But when you get down inside the 3-yard line, if I'm ever in the shotgun again, take the shotgun and just shotgun me. I don't know. To me, I don't know. Get me under center, and we 4 straight plays in shotgun, and I'm thinking like, damn, you're trying to run the ball here. You're trying to show some physicality. You're trying to, when you get in shotgun, I feel like you lose. Now, unless you're telling me, I'm going to take Dak Prescott, I'm going to spread him out, and I'm just going to run him straight ahead. But to me, get under center and try and see if against a team that you're better than, that you could just physically line up and put Dowdle in there and run it that way. And here I am nitpicking, but I'm just saying, me personally, when you get stopped and it's 4 straight plays in shotgun, I go and there's your answer right there.
May I be so impertinent as to inquire as to your age?
Soon to be 60. But I used to listen to your calls when they put Robert Newhouse and behind and Dorsett and Staubach would go under center.
You know how long ago that was?
Under center.
Have you just watch the game?
I know.
Everybody,
I hate
4th
it.
and 1 is shot.
I hate it.
I do too, but it's not going to change.
Throwing the ball on 4th and 1.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay if you.
I'm sorry, Mike. If you're driving home, I'm nitpicking on you right now.
No. I agree with you, but what people like you and me have to adjust to is the game's changed.
Yeah.
It's just not the same 4th and 1. Everybody's in shotgun. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody's in shotgun. Line up, knock somebody off the ball. Now, the pitch play or the end around the lamb was good.
The
little flip play out the flat
was good. Yeah.
Those are good. Yeah. Those are running plays. Those are out of shotgun.
Right.
So, okay. I mean, philosophically.
Inside the 5.
No. Here's the thing. We're friends.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Let it go. It'll be okay.
It's frozen. Let it go.
Let it go.
Because that's not today's football. It's not today's college football. It's not today's NFL. They're in the shotgun on 4th and 1, unless you're the Eagles.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I want to get down in there, and I want my offensive linemen to root them out, and I want my running back to. And that's why, frankly, I like Dowdle in short yardage.
I do too.
And I
do too.
I was. I guess curious is the word that in that first possession of the game, they did not put him back in that goal-to-go situation. But you know what? The thing you got to do is score. And if you want to score a way that you like that I don't like, that's fine as long as you score. I'm with you philosophically, and I'm urging you, let it go.
I don't have to be the smartest guy in the room, but I'm from the era of just load up the wagon. Just load it up. It doesn't matter how much weight. Just load up the wagon. We'll pull the wagon. You just load that thing up. I can't let this go, Brad. You know that. It's the only thing offensively today that I had a problem with.
Cold never bothered me anyway.
One thing that a lot, and
I
we've
wish
talked
I knew
to you,
the words, I'd sing with you.
and I didn't think we'd get Brad singing "Let It Go." This is a fantastic moment. But one thing that we have talked to you about, Brad, and
He
fans
can sing at the synagogue.
he
I've
sure
heard him
can.
sing before.
Absolutely, can be our cantor. The one thing
No,
people have
cannot.
texted us: "Where's Brandon Cooks?" Well, we found Brandon Cooks today, and I think all of us know he's had this ability. He's been open at times. We saw it in training camp, the connection with him and Dak, but they made an effort to get him the football.
So I'm hopeful. I think that they were just aware of him. They gave him opportunities. I'm hopeful that this means that this is something that they feel like they can do going forward and get him involved. I liked seeing Tolbert on the field more. Then Gallup came back and made a couple of plays, and they've got more than one tight end. I'm sorry Schoonmaker dropped that one ball, but he made a tremendous block on the Lamb touchdown. I think we'll see more and better of Schoonmaker going forward.
Man, you're on the bandwagon with me still?
Schoonmaker?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a good player.
I do too, but man, I feel like it's talking about loading up the wagon.
Don't let Eric beat you down.
I kind of feel like you and I are the only one on the Schoonmaker bandwagon
I'm
right
with
now.
you too.
It's all right. We're going to be
Man,
right.
I hope so.
Wait, we are going to be right.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it.
I'm worried about a lot of things right now. What am I doing?
Yeah.
You won by a lot.
be all right.
Laufenberg tells the story about Aikman calling him and talking about, stuff that bothers me. You know what bothers me? This really bothers me. That really bothers me. And you know what really bothers me is that I let this nonsense bother me.
Just don't let it bother you.
Schoonmaker's going to be a good player.
I think he's going to be a good
I
player
agree.
too.
I'm with you on that.
Brad, just hang with me, because
I'm
I
not
might
going
be
anywhere.
out there by myself.
Not going anywhere.
All right, Brad, thank you so much.
You bet, boys. Have a
we
great
appreciate
week.
it. You as well. 49-17, Cowboys get the win over the Giants. We've got our Cowboys insider, Bobby Belt. Of course, we got Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, and more from you. 877-881-1053. The victory party continues from the Miller Lite Club. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
So my buds and I are
.16 seconds left in the half.
A 10-yard scamper from Dak Prescott as he continues to use his legs. That's how I like my Dak right there. Mobile, on the run. And I do believe he might be playing, I believe he is playing the best football of his career right now. He was sensational today. And when you look at what CeeDee Lamb has been able to accomplish the last 3 weeks, the first receiver in NFL history to have 10 or more catches, 150-plus yards in 3 consecutive games. Brandon Cooks, the line he was able to put up today, which we've been waiting for. Michael Gallup with a vintage MG-type touchdown, which was a gorgeous throw from Dak Prescott. He's playing really, really well, and we'll hear from him in just a moment as his game day fit is undefeated. QB1 of the Dallas Cowboys, looking absolutely dapper. Let's catch up with our Cowboys insider, Bobby Belt, as the victory party continues here in the Miller Lite Club. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Bryan Broaddus after a 49-17 Cowboys win over the Giants, brought to you by the National Medal of Honor Museum. Join the mission at mohmuseum.org and AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Bobby, I know you just came from getting some sound and being inside the locker room. I'm assuming a very jubilant bunch.
Yeah, you know, it was a peppy group. They were all pretty happy, but I also think it's funny when they have a big victory like that. They feel it seems like even more they want to just kind of like, all right, let's get home. Like let's get out of here. Let's just enjoy the rest of the day. So when it's been in hand that long, I think they were actually ready to peace out pretty quick. But a dominant victory. You did to a Giants team exactly what you should have. That is one of the worst football teams I think I've ever seen. Seriously, that is a bad football team right now. But Dallas, you know, to their credit,
you never watched
really
my teams in the early 2000s.
Well, I saw those teams. I think those teams probably put up 40 points, Brian, against this Giants team. This is a bad group right here.
We were the Giants.
No, I'm saying your guys are going to put up 40 on this Giants.
And I saw a graphic that said the Cowboys are playing the Little Giants from the movie from 1994.
That's
with
really
Moranis
offensive to the Little
as their
Giants.
head coach. Yeah, it is because the annexation of Puerto Rico is still one of the best plays that's ever been run.
Yeah,
in
they
history
don't have
of football.
ice box.
They don't have the ice box, and they didn't have Spike either. Did those Little Giants? But I do want to ask, as you weigh a team that you should have beaten handedly like they did, but you still have to go out there and do it. And, you know, we do have some texts that came in, hey, You don't want to be overexcited. They beat a bad team. We see them do this before. But I mean, gentlemen, how do you weigh that? They did. They spanked a team like they should have. I mean, we talked about this before the game, Bobby. It's almost kind of a lose-lose situation.
Sure.
Or it's a Houston-type game where you win ugly, everyone's complaining, but then when you win 49-17, you're setting records offensively. It's almost like, okay, good. You did what you were supposed to.
Yeah, and I mean, for them, they just it's going to be hard to like contextualize anything that they did today for people, and I understand that, but that's why it's just important of, hey, don't take the cheese, don't listen to the noise, don't need the positive reinforcement in order to build yourself up, because all you needed to do today was take care of business. They could have beaten them 60-0, and I don't know that people would have been like, it's still the Giants. So that was going to be the reality of this today. The fact of the matter is they took care of business. They can't worry about what people have to say about it. They just have to take care of things, and they did that today. And I just before I jumped on here, I was doing some research, guys, and I got my favorite stat of the week.
Lay it on us.
Okay?
Give it to
All right,
us.
so the NFL went to a 16-game schedule in 1978. Okay, so from 1978 to 2015, the last year before Dak Prescott got here, the Cowboys had scored 40 points at home 14 times. Dak Prescott has scored 40 points at home 14 times.
Wow.
He did in the first 7-8 years of his career here what the Cowboys had done for the entire history of the 16-game schedule before he got here.
I'll tell you what, man, they figured it out with the quarterback, in my opinion. They since the San Francisco game.
Yeah.
What do you think's flipped? What do you think? Is it something that they went and when they were in that off week and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is something we have to think about differently? Is it simple as, hey, let's go back and look at things that we did last year or the previous 3 years? Or is it, let's try and expand what we've been, we've worked on this, but let's now go to it.
Yeah, so I think it's
Because something's clearly changed with the way that they're on offense. And it's not just all bad football teams they're playing.
I think the longer that –
because they lit Philadelphia up too.
I think the longer that these guys have played in this offense and the longer that Dak has been in this offense and gotten game reps with it, the more I think he's realized what is critical, what is necessary for me to play within the lines of the scheme versus what can I control myself. And I think what you've seen is the first few weeks, he was, figuring that footing out, trying to figure out, okay, is this just guidance or is this a hardline rule that in order for this offense to work, I've got to do it this way? And I think that he's just realized, I think the Chargers game opened eyes to some of the people in this offense and made them realize, okay, we can do some different things. There's ways we can play within this offense and still make it our own, like the players, that they can take ownership of it and freelance within it. And I think that's part of what you've seen here. I do think there's definitely been a recommitment to throwing the ball in the middle of the field, hitting some of the deep crossers. That they had to bring back in because what they put out the first several weeks was just not going to work.
I was gonna say, I wonder if you're in a situation too where where Dak had to prove to them that, listen, this way you want to do it the first several games is not going to look very good. But let me try and do this. Let me open it up this way.
Yeah, I think.
Mean, is it like, okay, fine, I'll do it the way you want me to do it, and then I'll prove to you that if you let me do it the way I'd like to do it, we might be able to do some things. Am I being too simplistic there?
No, I don't think you're too far off, and I don't think he would have thought of it in that way. Like, okay, I'll do it this way, show you how bad it is. I don't think it's a thing like that.
No, I think he's showing him like, hey, okay, I'll run your offense.
And I think he was showing, and I think
but if you let me open it up, we can do this. I mean, I see his eyes down the field. I see him down the field making plays.
Yeah, which is honestly not something that was even designed in the offense the first few weeks. It felt like.
No.
I think what. The turning point of this season very well may be, at least for this offense, very well may be CeeDee Lamb being as unhappy as he was on the sideline against San Francisco. I think you're right. And Dak and said that this week. I think Dak and CeeDee aired out a lot of stuff there, and I don't think it was ever tension with the quarterback. I think it was tension with the system, and I think Dak probably had some heart-to-heart conversations with CeeDee. CeeDee had heart-to-heart conversations with the organization, and they realized, all right, we got to start probably listening to these players. Xavier McKinney said this week how upset he was that the Giants weren't listening to veteran leaders as much. I think they probably, this Cowboys offense, a lot of these guys gave them their input and said, hey, this is what we think works, this is what we think doesn't, and you guys need to listen to us. And to their credit, I think the Cowboys coaching staff has adjusted to that.
As we talk about those changes, it was our buddy John Machota put out this nugget about Dak in his last 4 games. He's thrown for 1,354 yards, 12 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions. Passer ratings 125.1. Add in 90 yards rushing and a couple of rushing touchdowns. You are the Dak whisperer, Bobby Belt. And while I know last week didn't finish the way we wanted it to, Dak was still really, really good. Is this the best football you think he's played in his career over these last 4 games?
Pretty close. I still think there was a time during 2019 where he was really in command of things. And I think at the beginning of 2020, before he got hurt, he was incredible.
He did look great, even though they were losing, but he was playing great.
Yeah, he was a big part of that. And so I do think that this is around probably as good as we've seen him play. And I think that he's really taken control and ownership and is comfortable knowing where he can play within this scheme and then where his voice is within the scheme and his input and his ability to impact the game is. And so that's what I think is really at play here. And look, it wasn't all pretty. Like, we still had one of those classic little bit of tunnel vision on the interception there. Just missed the DB sitting there.
There's once in a while we just don't see those drop players.
You're just gonna have that every now and then.
Sometimes we just don't see that linebacker or that nickel corner sitting right there, do we?
I'll take one of those picks every 4 games if you're going to give me the 125 passer rating and the 12 touchdowns. I'll take that. So
those are the ones that bother me when he didn't see the guy.
Yeah, and it happens.
Those are the ones that
they've
get
been lessened, but he had
if
one.
If he's going to try and fit a ball into somebody and make it work, then I'm all about that. But if he's when he doesn't see that drop player. That's a tough one to live with.
Absolutely.
Anything else before we let you boogie out of here, Bobby?
Just that I love you all.
We love you
too. Love the start tonight. Let's
we're gonna tape one tonight. But without Peyton, I would guess it's just gonna be you and me because we grind, Brian.
We grind. But fire some questions at Bobby Belt TX or at Brian Broaddus, and we'll answer your questions. Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby. There he goes, Bobby Belt, our Cowboys insider here on the official postgame show of your Dallas Cowboys. 877-881-1053. The number to call, the number to text. We will hear from Mike McCarthy on the other side. But let's go ahead and sneak in a couple of your phone calls. I know some of you have been waiting a little while. Let's go to our buddy Big Jim in Rockwall. What's up, Big Jim? How you doing tonight, sir?
Wolchuk, Broaddus, always a pleasure to hear y'all break down the game. Hey, look, I was happy for a couple of reasons. One, nobody really got hurt. I know number 2 is
Lewis. Maybe Lewis. Yeah, we're trying to figure that one out.
I think we got something there. But look, Brian, you talk about it all the time. These guys don't get a chance to practice during the week with all the rules in NFL, and I thought it was good just to see them out there getting game reps and working through some things because y'all have already talked about how Brandon Cooks got on fire tonight, and I thought that was real good. And I think this is when you kind of bank some things, and you hope you can pull them out when you're playing up against some tougher competition. And I was happy, and I'm glad the Cowboys didn't play down to the level of their opponent. I kind of wondered there a little bit at the beginning, but oh no, I'm very pleased, very happy. I'm just I think this game here might in the ones next few we got coming up. We just got to get some things worked out.
Yes, sir.
I did notice this, Brian. When you watch that tape in the morning, it seemed to me that in the running game they were hitting the hole faster. The handoff was coming out a little faster.
Yes.
So I noticed that. I didn't know about the maybe the scheme change, but it looked like they were just getting there quicker, and maybe that's a little punch that we needed. But appreciate you boys, and y'all don't let Bobby. Y'all be kind to old Peyton Russell. That's a good boy.
He's our guy. We love Peyton. Thank you, Jim.
We love Peyton. We hate Bobby. That's the deal. Yeah, we're about that.
The troll god that is Bobby Belt. All right, let's get one more in before the break. Don't worry. Make sure you stay on hold. I will get to you. I promise. 877-881-1053. Got our buddy Scott in Jersey. Scott, how you feeling, man? What's the party like going on at your house?
Party's going on. It's still going on tonight. It's always a pre-party. Love the Cowboys always. I just got a couple of things. Thanks for the call. That pre-show, Brian, is awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I hope you enjoyed your cheesesteaks. I know you were talking about that all day. But my real question is, guys, we're a passing team. It's as easy as that. We're not a running team. We're just a passing team.
Yep.
Is that good or bad? Is it good to be a passing team or a running team?
Thank you, Scott. What do you think, Brian?
I'll tell you what, man. I am so old school, and I believe in running game because I think you can demoralize people running the football and just protect yourself. But I'll tell you what, with the way these receivers are playing right now, man, you could throw the ball and demoralize people just as well the way the Cowboys are making big plays. But I'm a little bit old school. I think they're going to have to find a way to run, but I'm not convinced they can. I'm not convinced that they can. But, man, if you say I could get all these receivers involved and get this tight end involved, boom, I'm all about that throwing the football.
Yeah. And I agree. I mean, I think this team is going to go through Dak's arm and the weapons they have. But when you play against good teams, especially in the postseason, I think we've seen, you're a team that just can't run the ball.
Yep.
You're probably going to not achieve.
But, we saw Dak Prescott light up Tampa. He lit Tampa up in one of his best games he's ever played throwing the football. Now, again, that's Tampa. But it's a playoff game.
I'm just going back to the history of Super Bowl winners.
Do you think this team can run the ball? I mean, consistently.
They have not shown that they can do it against good defense, good fronts.
There you go.
They haven't.
But they can throw the ball against a good defense. They can throw the ball last week.
But I just don't know in a playoff game if that's going to be able to be enough. I mean, we don't think of Kansas City as a running team. But in the Super Bowl, Isaiah Pacheco is having a great game. They're running. You just got to be able to keep the defense honest. Yeah. You don't have to be an elite running team. Yeah. But they just got to have a little bit of balance, I think, in a postseason game to be able to make that run. And they're working towards it. We saw some improvement there today. All right, we will hear from head coach Mike McCarthy. If you're waiting on hold, don't worry. That opens up a couple of lines. Let's get you on. 877-881-1053. 49-17. Cowboys get the win over the Giants. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Fly to Philly, take off to Tampa, depart for Denver. Following your team on the road is more rewarding.
Catch. Michael Gallup's one there as the Cowboys now on the season have outscored the New York Giants 89-17 in their two combined matchups. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Bryan Broaddus live from the Miller Lite Club here. And yes, Brian, this was fun.
It was fun. And I'm going to answer a question.
Yeah.
Brian Johnson on Twitter or X asked me what pin and pull was.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just try and explain it real quick for the audience. When we're talking about offensive line scheme, pin and pull is when you have offensive linemen that will down block. So say a guy's covered, say the guard's covered, the tackle will block down, you get a tight end block down, so you're pinning defenders inside. The pull comes from the either like the guard, the tackle. You could get a tight end pin and a tackle pull or a guard pull or center pull. So anything you think of, you're pinning defensive linemen inside, and then you're pulling guys to get them on the perimeter to block either the linebackers or the safeties or the corners right there. So you'll see a lot of time, you'll hear us say crack toss. Mm-hmm. That means, okay, toss play, a sweep play. We saw a few of them tonight. The receiver comes inside, cracks the in man on the line of scrimmage, blocks, and then everybody gets outside that. So it's crack toss. Pin and pull kind of works the same way. Down block, get guys to pull on the edge. So hopefully that explains when you hear me say pin and pull, that's the kind of scheme I'm talking about. It's what the Arizona Cardinals did to you with some pretty awesome effectiveness, I'd say.
Yeah, they absolutely did. 877-881-1053, always the number to call, the number to text. Let's hear, though, from your victorious head coach, Mike McCarthy, who caught up with the media following this 49-17 win.
Player to the 4-Star Telegram. That was a thorough victory. I mean, can you just talk about what went right for the Cowboys from the beginning with Dak?
Well, I mean, I just think, obviously with the game plan and just, some of the things they were going through, it was important for us to get out there and be aggressive and jump on them. And I think it, was part of the, the first drive, just being aggressive. But I thought our defense did a great job taking advantage of the backed up field position, gave us two excellent, opportunities to go back down there and score. And then, our offense versus their defense, schematically they do a lot. It's a challenge, and we were really looking forward to it because you have to beat those types of defenses, particularly when they try to stress your protections. So, and I thought our guys did a good job of that. Pass protection was a huge emphasis for us this week, and I'm not sure. I don't think we gave up a sack. So, but defensively, they just swarmed the ball. Won the situationals, and special teams was a whole lot going on there, but decisive win.
Dak and CD continue their hot streak, and they've been playing well. But what was the difference for Brandon Cooks today?
Say it again about Brandon.
What was the difference for Brandon Cooks today?
Oh, I just think his opportunities came together. So I think the protection part of it, we're getting to where we need to be. We still have work to do there, going off of last week. And then, we definitely took a step this week. And I think just with that, we're able to get into the play types that we want to live in. So, and I think you're seeing more of that here the last couple of weeks.
CD's been on a tear the last couple of weeks, set a record today. Just your thoughts about the streak that he's been on?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's really cool when you see, CD or a player just really hit his stride, and what's great for the Dallas Cowboys, he's going to be doing that for a long time. So, and I think with Dak, you have a guy that you can grow with. And not only is it great for those two, but it's good for the whole group, because it raises the standard that everybody has to play to.
Have you seen a difference in Dak since that 49er game in terms of anything?
Oh, really? I mean, the 49er game was, it was disappointing for all of us. So, I mean, it wasn't like, it was just one guy. So, nobody, walked out of there that day. And I think just like anything, this is the National Football League. You get knocked on your ass, and it's not whether you get back up; it's how you get up. And I think our guys have responded.
Elwin Henderson, Gilmer Muir, Mike, 404 yards passing for Dak, 3 games over 400 yards, franchise record. Talk a little bit about how he just continued to get better and better.
Oh yeah, no, he's all football. I mean, this guy. He loves everything about it. The training. I think when you look at this game, Sundays are really for free. What he does Monday through Saturday is so impressive, and it's important because we made changes from last year, and these guys have worked hard to do the things that they've been asked to do, and it's nice to see it come together. It's nice to see the success that they're having because they've definitely put the work in.
Is he seeing it better? Why is he seeing it so well now?
Say again?
Dak, is he seeing it better over the last few weeks?
Well, yeah, I think, it's just like anything. I think the harder you work and the more you prepare, and I think you have to give, the coaches, credit, starting with Bryan and Scott Tolzien all the way through, Mike Solari. I mean, and I'm really excited about some of our young coaches. But, yeah, I just think we're really kind of finding our stride, with the game plans and things like that. And but yeah, he's definitely playing at a high level. But he works at it,
You left City out there to get the record over 150.
Correct.
Why is that important?
How many times are you in a position like that? I'll tell you what, you feel worse as a coach if I would have walked in there and you'd be asking me, why the hell didn't you leave him out there for 9 yards? So, because I've had it happen before. So, I think this league is so competitive. When you are in that position, I think it's the respect that that you should show to the player to accomplish that goal. Or that record wasn't a goal, I guess.
Yeah. Jacob Denimore, the ticket. Mike, what were your thoughts on the effectiveness of the run game today and the play of the offensive line in general? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, those guys just need to continue to play together. So that definitely ran the ball better. Had some flukes. They didn't make it easy. But I thought our guys did a really good job sorting it out. I thought Tony had some tough looks that he ran hard through. Rico got some clean looks that he attacked. So we definitely took a step in the right direction.
Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy there talking with the media, brought to you by AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And Blockchain, trust the team at blockchain.com to make buying, selling, and trading crypto easy. Play smarter, not harder with blockchain.com.
Did he said something about CeeDee Lamb being here for a long time?
He did.
Are we close to an extension or something? Did Mike dropping some extension?
Tell us.
Is he dropping some hints?
That'd be fun.
Yeah,
it'd be fun if he. I mean, I'm assuming
he'd be here for a long time. That kind of perked up there real quick.
I did too.
Yeah.
And with the way CeeDee's playing, I mean, he certainly is playing like the best receiver in football. I mean, he just had a historic game today. The 3-week stretch
he's
that
had
he's been
a historic
on,
3 weeks.
Yes, has never been done again. And he said, courtesy of Michael Gelkin of the Morning News, quote, "I'm the top receiver in this game, and it's no question about it. If there is, I'll see you all again next week." And as we mentioned, he's the first player in the Super Bowl era to record double-digit catches and at least 150 yards in 3 straight games. As the contract extension, it seems like it keeps getting bigger and bigger with every great performance. But, I mean, you're hard-pressed to find a receiver right now that's playing any better than CeeDee Lamb, if there is.
No, and it doesn't matter if it's man, zone, just doesn't matter. He's finding ways to get open. Dak threw that Tolo ball to, out there, and see he came back for it. And,
yeah,
gorgeous. I mean, and that's the, where we sit in the press box, it's so unique because we're in the end zone.
Yeah.
And then you see routes develop, especially when they're coming towards us. And you're like, man, okay, look, did you see what Lamb did? Boy, you see what Cooks just did. And that their defenders are having a hard time dealing with and I think that CeeDee Lamb's football intelligence is so top shelf. Man zone, he knows when to sit down, he knows when to keep running. Mm-hmm. He's tough, he'll go in there. Heck, he made a catch today I don't think he's getting enough credit for. That one of his early catches was he was almost parallel to the ground and just and kept the ball off the turf. Didn't scoop it, by like overhand caught it.
Yes.
You think, oh, he's just going to dive and scoop it. No, he turned his hands over. You have to have some hand strength to do that. What he did, but he is on a tear right now, and the quarterback knows that getting the ball to him or near him is likely going to end up to be a big play.
Absolutely, and hopefully we're starting to see that now with Brandon Cooks as well, who also had a big game. Let's go ahead and pause 10 seconds to allow stations to identify themselves across the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Your turn it on, leave it on. Home of America's team is 105.3 The Fan.
Hello, baby.
KRLD FM and HD1, Dallas Fort Worth.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
All right, more of your calls and texts. Plus, we'll hear from your quarterback, Dak Prescott, after a 49-17 Cowboys win over the Giants, as they've now won 12 straight here at AT&T Stadium and improved to 6-3 on the season. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Hi, Drew Pearson, former Dallas Cowboys.
many things going bad for them. Just talk about the way you guys focused and took care of business against this team.
No, I wouldn't say it was tough to focus. I mean, I've talked about it week after week. This is the NFL. Those guys get paid. Those guys hopefully love this game and put the same preparation and work into it. So you've got to, prepare the same way, stay focused the same way, and then go out there and try to handle business. And not only that, it was game one, right? I mean, obviously they haven't had probably the season they'd look forward to, but that being game one until now, there's probably things that, they pictured maybe go better, this and that, yeah, we came in with the same focus as we normally would. Obviously, didn't score on that first drive, but got momentum going. Yeah, we're ready to go. We're ready to play, and we'll continue to do that. As I've talked about, this is about us. This is about us running our own race, and no matter what the score is, the other opponent, what they're going through, what's tough for them, young quarterback, whatever. We're trying to build. We're trying to build and become a better team, and as I said, show our best performance and best versions of ourselves each week.
Dan Tyler with ESPN. You've outscored them by 72 points this year. Is that unfathomable in some sort of way? It's the most in team history.
Yeah, I was about to say it's got to be a record. I'm sure. The points that we've put up in 2 games, obviously, and then credit our defense. Them holding them to 17 in 2 games. I mean, hard to do in this league. Hard to do against a division opponent, somebody that you see twice. So yeah, I mean, but that's not something it's not a goal we went after, not something that we're trying to, make sure we do this. Obviously, we wanted to handle them for the, second time this season, and just happened to be in that manner with that many points, and the defense playing as well as they did. Unfortunate circumstances for them, young quarterback, but he made some plays at times, and yeah, so I mean, good for us.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Your thoughts on how you've been playing the last 4 or 5 weeks, especially since after that 49er game?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I go back and talk about – I think about before the 49ers game, going into that game, I felt confident. I felt good about everything that happened. The results just obviously were not there. But in this headspace, being prepared, chemistry of this team, chemistry of the coaching staff, credit them. And I feel like I talk about them every week, and hopefully deservingly – or hopefully I do, and deservingly so, because – they're a great group that are giving us everything that we need, staying on us, always making changes when we need them, and they're fun to play for and to play with in that sense and work with. So credit them, but for me it's just about being comfortable, being free, as if we talked about going back to the off season, the footwork, all the different things that we worked on, and I just feel like obviously at this point, so many games into the season, all that's coming to play, and it just feels more natural, you know what I mean, that we're this far in it, really listening to my feet, believing them, the pass protection, working hand in hand, being able to change up so many protections, guys being dialed, guys outside going and making plays. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb with the streak and the I don't even want to call it a streak because that's who he is. It's just what he's beginning to do week in and week out. It starts with him, but then those other guys understanding if we're going to get one-on-one opportunities, we're going to do the same thing. And obviously, Brandon had a night tonight. MG, a couple big catches. Yeah, so everything's just really coming together, and that's my point of this is about us. This is about us hitting our peak at the right time and just trying to grow. And we're going to do that. We're going to make sure that doesn't stop. We're not satisfied with this. I can promise you that. I'll have an interception and maybe two or more plays. One should have been an interception that I won't, you know what I mean, get quite the peaceful sleep that I want. We'll be thinking about, but that's where I am. That's where this offense, that's where this team is striving to be our complete best.
John Machota, The Athletic. Why do you think the connection with Brandon Cooks was working so well right from the beginning, in the entire first half, really?
Practice, man. I mean, y'all know me. I always talk about practice, what we put into it, going back to this game plan, going back to early in the week. I told him, say let's put the work in, and it's going to come out. I mean, he's been there for us all year when we've needed him to. There's been games that we've come back and said, "Oh, could you get him more involved?" And yeah, sure, maybe so, right? He's that type of player that deserves those questions when he's not getting those targets or getting those catches, and then. Little communication that we had throughout this week, and then he had a great week of practice. Some plays were, built and meant up to go for him, and then the others, he went and won. When they would double CD, they would do this or that. He went and beat his man and made it easy for me to throw.
Dak Prescott there after a 49-17 win over the New York Giants. And Dak, according to Next Gen Stats, completed 11 of 14 passes, over 10 air yards for 271 yards and 3 TDs, recording the highest completion percentage over expected, over 10 air yards of any quarterback in a game over the last 2 seasons. Incredible. And, you know, if he's not playing the best football of his career right now, he's playing some of the best. And CeeDee Lamb's definitely a beneficiary of that right now.
Yeah, he is in a role. The preparation last week, you know, against the Eagles, was unfortunate that they didn't finish that game off. But he was in the zone last week. You know, playing against a really good defense, a defense that was going to pressure him. You know, there was a little bit compromised in the secondary, but that's the one thing I love about Dak Prescott right now. If you're not going to play at your absolute best in the secondary and you're not going to pass rush him, and the one thing when you do pass rush him, he has found ways to get the ball out.
Yes.
But he's also found ways to run, and now he's punishing teams that way with these little hidden yards that he has, 4 or 5 runs a game, where he's gotten a couple of first downs out of it, and he's just broken out of the pocket and made some throws. But if, you know, he's going to play at a high level, and if you're that defense that doesn't play at a high level, he is going to find a way to take advantage of you, because he's got a lot of confidence in his receivers. He's got a lot of confidence in his tight end. And, you know, his offensive line, you get a guy like Tyron Smith, who I'm really interested to see this week. I mean, last week it felt like it was one of the best games that Tyron Smith had played probably in 5-6 years. And I'm interested to see if, you know, having him rest every week is going to allow him to continually play at a high level. But they got a lot of guys on offense that are doing a great job, and their play callers are starting to get in a little rhythm about calling these ball plays.
Absolutely. And the offensive line, in terms of pass protection today, very, very good. At times has been really good throughout the stretch as well. But today, against definitely a wounded Giants front, not one of the best ones they're going to play like they've seen with Philly last week or with the Niners a few weeks ago, but they certainly deserve a tip of the cap as well.
You got to take advantage if people are compromised. And how many times have we, during the Jason Garrett administration, the Giants would come here with Eli Manning and half their offensive linemen would be out.
Yeah.
And then the Giants find a way to make it a competitive game, and then they win.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, how did they not take advantage of that team? You know, if you're going to run players out there that probably shouldn't be playing a lot of snaps against this Dallas offense, they will find those players.
Sure.
Whether it's the slot or the outside or the safety guys in the middle of the field, they will find a way to take advantage of you.
Absolutely. You're 100% right. 877-881-1053, the number to call, the number to text as we continue to celebrate a 49-17 Cowboys win over the Giants. And then next week it'll be a noon kick out in Carolina, which means pregame will be at 9 o'clock right here on the Dallas Cowboys radio
Carolina's been kind of a crazy place for the Cowboys to play. Not as bad as what Arizona is, right? Are we going to hear stories about, oh, remember this game in Carolina where it was, you know.
Last time they were there, season opener, lost to Cam Newton at that time. It was a tight game as well. But, yeah, it has been a little bit of a weird place to play.
Last time they were here, I think Sam Darnold was quarterback.
Yes.
But the Panthers were very good on run defense. But Dallas just mopped the floor with them. Yeah,
so, of course, there was that Thanksgiving Day game where Romo came back and
Kuechly
knocked him out again. Yeah. I remember a game in Carolina. I think it was right around Christmas time, maybe back in 2004. Julius Jones had a big game. Cowboys rallied to win.
Very first start
was in Carolina.
Was in Carolina.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
Kind of a weird place for the. I think it's still Bank of America Stadium or something like that.
The Cowboys, see, the difference, I guess, with Arizona is the Cowboys have won there, but sometimes they're kind of ugly games against teams that maybe they should go ahead and beat handedly. And look at the run the Texans are on right now. They lost 2 weeks ago to Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina's only win is against the Houston Texans, who are playing quite well right now.
No doubt. All right, we want to hear more from you. As I mentioned, 877-881-1053. We'll also hear from Jerry Jones. We've got some more player audio. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
People will always
Little flip to the left side of the end zone. Touchdown to Ferguson, who's got a little cha-cha move in her.
Cha-cha, real smooth. Cowboys with their drive of the game, brought to you by Ford, your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. The longest drive of the season for the Cowboys as they went 96 yards following what initially was the Dak interception. Cowboys defense then gets the stop, and then they go ahead and move it 96 yards on 8 plays, 4 minutes and 35 seconds off the clock, and it culminated in that Dak Prescott 1-yard touchdown strike to Jake Ferguson, and I believe that was the play Udoka checked in as eligible as well.
Yeah.
What a difference a week makes,
What a difference when you go up to the official and say 71 eligible. It makes all the difference in the world.
Let them know, man.
And then the official tells all of us,
yes,
hey, 71 eligible.
Oh, man. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Bryan Broaddus. We're having fun. 49-17 here in the Miller Lite Club after a Cowboys victory, improving to 6-3 on the season. All right, let's get to the phones. And we're going to start off with our guy, Ron, who's been waiting quite a bit in Mesquite. Ron, how you doing, sir? You're on the official postgame show of the Dallas Cowboys.
Good evening, guys. Y'all doing all right?
Doing fantastic, man.
Hey, real quick, just a couple of quick comments. To give Dak his dues, you know, he had a really good game. Actually, he's had a couple of really good games. I think one thing, he for so long after his injury, it seemed like he was always afraid to run, and he was staying in the pocket. It's like he was getting killed all the time. His pocket presence to me is not great, but it's pretty good. But anyway, he played a really good game, and I'm proud of him. And as far as CD, he used to kill everybody when he played for Oklahoma. I watched him, and man, that guy, he scared me every time, especially that played the Longhorns. I mean, it just and just one more question, and I'll hang up and listen. But you know, they drafted a really good fullback. How come they don't use him? I mean, this kid is good. I watched a video on him. This Hunter Lepke.
Yeah.
And he's got good hands, and I mean, he's big. He kind of reminds me of Moose Johnston, but he's bigger than Moose Johnston.
I'll tell you what, if you could show me the clip where he was blocking at North Dakota State, I'd be happy to watch it with you. Because in my opinion, he's always been a one-back runner.
Yeah.
You know, and you watch him in the preseason when they hand him the ball, he has that feel for how to knife his way through and get through traffic. He's reliable catching the ball, as you mentioned. I never saw him block at North Dakota State. And I know the state of North Dakota is probably mad at me, but you know, this kid is a good player. But man, Moose Johnston, square pads, go in there and dig guys out. I mean, physically go dig. And I just don't see that right now with Hunter. They're trying. I mean, he is trying, but he does not have that temperament to do that kind of work. He could do the catching part, the running part. He's going to have to develop the going in there and digging guys out part.
100%. I agree with you, and I heard Nate Newton earlier this week as well talk about it on the Dallas Cowboys radio network. And, you know, we watched him on the draft show on DallasCowboys.com, and Hunter Lepke, a hell of a player there at North Dakota State, but blocking is not something that he did much. He was, to your point.
And he was a free agent signing. He was
an undrafted rookie free agent. They didn't draft him.
They did not draft him.
But, I mean, and Ron, you're not alone. There's a lot of people that ask you about that. And he's got a great skill set. I mean, he can catch the ball in the backfield. We saw him kind of line up as a tight end.
He's really athletic, like an athletic H.
Yes.
But too small to play H. I don't know. I mean, like you say, as a fullback, he just does not. When we start to talk about the really good fullbacks, and I don't want to sit there and compare him to Kyle Juszczyk or that guy at the Ravens.
Well, a lot of people wanted to compare him to John Kuhn, of course, who was with McCarthy in Green Bay, but he was a thumper. He was a blocker.
Yes. I mean, Kuhn would big square pad guy, and he just ram into people, and he could get movement that way. I think Hunter he's trying, and he hits, and he kind of doesn't have that where these really good fullbacks are the ones that we see that they can do it. They have that ability they're like Velcro on guys. They come up and they stick on them, and then they're able to kind of work them wherever they want to go, and Hunter's just not quite there on that. And it's not to say he can't, but right now he's just not that guy.
All right, let's go to Don Murray in Nashville. Don, how you doing, sir? Oh, Don's gone. Okay, let's go to Greg in Ohio. What's up, Greg?
How you doing? I was going to talk about the Hunter Lupke thing, but I was anyhow. I was wondering about Deuce.
What were you going to say about Hunter? I want to hear what you were going to say about Hunter. What were you
what you guys just said. I seen him in the North Dakota State playoffs last year, and he was a beast. I seen him running, catching the football.
Yeah.
I didn't really know about the blocking situation, but I figured you could learn that stuff. So. But I was wondering why they don't use him more in the short yardage. Give him the ball, see what he can do. I don't know.
There you go. I mean, that to me, Brad was trying to talk me off the ledge because you're getting shotgun 4 straight plays, and then you throw the ball, and then you don't, and then you hand the ball to Pollard. And I just remember last year, and this is nothing against Tony Pollard, but I remember last year they tried to get him the ball. There was a game where he ran 3 straight times. Minnesota. Okay, 3 straight times, and then on 4th down they took him out and they put Zeke in there, and they got the touchdown.
Yep.
Sometimes it's about, listen, let's not be cute here. It's football in a phone booth down there. Let's try and, if you got guys like Hunter Lipke or Rico Dowdle or those guys that are physical players, hand them the ball and try and get a yard.
Yeah.
Try and get 2 yards. I hate sometimes you get inside the five. And Dallas is one of the teams that really struggles in goal-to-go situations.
Yes.
And I was to the point, like on that 4th down, I'm like, I looked at Zach. I told you, I go, just give me your best 2-point play now.
Right.
Just whatever your best 2-point play is, run it right now.
Yep.
Because you're not, the way you're going about this is, and these coaches, I think they're smart. I think they'll figure it out. But, yeah, you can't go down there in those situations and come up empty.
No,
you can't.
And that's something we talked about earlier in the season when they were really struggling with the red zone, which has improved. But that is an area where Hunter Lipke does have a nose for the end zone, man. He's got a good feel for that, as you've talked about in those short yardage areas. So there are ways to use him. I just, I think when we think of fullbacks and you talk about Moose Johnson, one of the best to ever do it, in terms of that lead,
that's high praise.
ISO type of fullback, that's not his game. And maybe he can develop and improve as a blocker, but right now that's not the strength of his game, and he wasn't asked to block in college. Right. So that's something he's got to learn to do.
No, he was a catcher of the football. And matter of fact, I remember seeing an interview when he had his arm in a sling.
Yeah.
Where he had, and you're thinking, oh, gosh, this guy got shoulder problems? That kind of thing. So he's trying. He's just not to where you need him to be. And I'll tell you what, it takes a certain temperament. Kid's tough, but it takes a certain temperament to go in there and dig guys out for sure.
No doubt. All right, let's go to J.K. in Prosper. J.K., how you doing?
Hey, guys, I appreciate it. First of all, let me just say this. Ever since Randy Galloway retired, I turned it over to you guys. I've been listening to you guys since then. And Broaddus and all of you. But Broaddus, I tell you what, there's some people I can't stand them unless they're drinking, and some people I can't stand them when they're drinking. But you're a likable dude, whether you're drinking or sober. And I tell you, you guys really let your hair down, and I felt like I bonded with y'all during the parade last week.
Oh, thank you.
And so I just want to say hats off to you guys for being.
Yeah.
You are, but you were likable. Some people, you can't stand them if they get liquored up.
Yeah. I'm not going to fight you if I get liquored up, though. I'll probably buy you like a Jack in the Box when it's all said.
Or ask somebody else to go get it, but I'll give you the money.
Yeah. I'm not going to fight you, but I had a blast, and I'm so glad I got to experience that in my life. I really, really, being out there with all the fans and the Rangers, and the fact that we're the official station for the Rangers, they took us on such a great ride this year. Really did.
They did. What else you got, J.K.? Okay.
Oh,
I think he wanted to ask about why it took so long to get Brandon Cooks involved.
I'm just saying, man. We had route luck tonight. We had route luck. We had route protection. We had route luck. Brandon Cooks has been running good routes. Brandon Cooks has been open. You got a guy at number 88's on a heater right now. 87, with Ferguson's been good. Brandon Cooks has found ways to get open. But there have been plays where they have tried to set things up with Brandon Cooks, and it just hasn't worked. These deep – we saw him with some of the deep crossing routes and stuff today that he was able to hit. That's the kind of stuff they've been trying to throw him the ball. I think that's why Mike McCarthy's hating all the questions about Brandon Cooks, because
they've been trying.
Because they've been trying, and he wants to come out and say, hey, listen, if you dumb A's would just watch the All-22 – that maybe you would see that that Brandon Cooks is running routes where he's getting open. We just can't get him the ball right now.
No,
You know?
100%. But they definitely targeted him more today than they have all year, and that certainly helped.
And you know what? It's the type of secondary that needed to be targeted.
You're right.
Absolutely.
It absolutely was. All right, we'll get one more call in here before the break. Don't worry, 877-881-1053. That opens some lines, and if you're still waiting on hold, we will get to you here on the official postgame show of your Dallas Cowboys. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Bryan Broaddus. Let's go to Nickelberry in Oak Cliff. Nickelberry, what's going on?
Hold on, I hear you guys laughing about my name. Go Google me. It's Nickelberry, Texas. But listen here, Bryan, you're spot on, man. They have give Dak the go-ahead. He's playing like Dak of 2016. Thank you guys for taking my call.
We appreciate you,
man. Nickelberry, Texas. Is that what we just said?
That's what we
said. Did I just learn that?
Nickelberry, Texas.
All
We're
right.
probably fools, and we should know who you are, Nickelberry, and I appreciate you listening and being a part of the conversation.
My bad. I've been all over this great state of Texas scouting players. I've never been to Nickelberry.
No, me either. I have not either, but don't worry. We're going to find out exactly who you are, Nickelberry. I promise you that. And I do appreciate it. 877-881-1053, always the number to call, number to text, 214. Dak is now third in QBR, certainly probably the best stat to measure quarterback play. Absolutely. Oh, my gosh, and the 214 asking about Brian Daboll and trying to challenge that first play. I mean, that's the kind of sums up the Giants' season, right? And just a weird scenario where Daboll throws a challenge flag on Cooks' first catch that he was clearly down by contact. Then the ball comes out. He's thinking, maybe I'll challenge this for a fumble. Then he decides, no, I don't want to challenge it, but he's already thrown the flag. So either going to be penalized or we're going to go ahead and use the challenge, which will burn a challenge and burn a timeout since they're not going to win the challenge. And that's what happened to Daboll. Just an absolute mess of a situation.
Well, I mean, hey, I go to a school that used all three of their timeouts. You know, I went to LSU. In that game against Florida last night, we had all three of our timeouts done with 10-20-something left in the second quarter. The first half, we had we had a chance to force Florida to punt, and they just said, no, we're just going to run the clock out here because we don't have any timeouts. Sometimes these coaches lose track of game management. In that case, Brian Daboll. I think Brian Daboll, very emotional coach. Very emotional on the sidelines. Him and Wink Martindale, I'm sure they are talking still about what happened defensively. But Wink Martindale is really running these. There's a reason why they don't run jackasses in the Kentucky Derby. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have the horses to run the race, a lot of times you will get exposed, and they got really exposed bad tonight.
Yeah, they certainly did. We will hear from Jerry Jones, Jake Ferguson, who was with our buddy KG, Kevin Gray. Shout out to you, sir, for all the hard work that you've done.
KG, thank you for everything you did, brother.
Absolutely.
Great teammate throughout this.
Phenomenal teammate. He'll be starting a new career endeavor. We wish him the best, as this was his last day working with the flagship 105.3 The Fan, but also alongside the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network, and appreciate everything that he has done.
Pro's
as well.
pro right there.
No question about it. All right, let's get to Jerry Jones, plus we'll hear more from your calls and text. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Hey Cowboys fans, it's time to get ready for tailgate season with an official Dallas Cowboys license plate from myplates.com. Join the many thousands of fans already driving around with Cowboys pride on their ride. It's a must.
25 of New York. And it does look like a penalty against the defense.
What an absolutely tremendous catch by C.D. Lamb. Dak Prescott saying, of course, he had the tongue-out moment as well. He's having some fun. Dak said they showed that. I'll be honest, I was throwing it away. But when it's C.D. Lamb and it's in his vicinity, it's going to be his or nobody's. And it certainly was. And what an amazing catch that was for C.D. Lamb. He had several amazing catches today. He really, really did. He had the one right before half and then that one as well early in the game. What a play of the game, brought to you by WinStar, the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. WinStar knows what it means to be a star. With over 10,000 of your favorite electronic games, the all-new two-story WinStar Spa and Cascades, their luxury pool complex, WinStar really is the place to feel like a star. Please game responsibly, and I do want to take a moment to shout out what they're doing over at the Star for the holiday season. You can experience the most electrifying event of this holiday season. It's the Cowboys Christmas Extravaganza.
Super nice.
Powered by Reliant. It is. We've had the opportunity to go out there. It's fantastic.
It is nice.
It's every Friday and Saturday night from November 17th through December 16th. The Cowboys Christmas Extravaganza ignites the Star in Frisco with an unforgettable holiday performance showcasing 65 performers, including the world-renowned Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. They've got Santa Claus and appearances from your favorite Cowboys football heroes. Visit thestardistrict.com to get more information. If you're looking for something for the family to go out and do, celebrate the holidays, that's definitely a fun way to do it and get a little taste of America's team. All right, we teased hearing from the owner and the general manager, Jerry Jones. Let's hear from Jerry postgame after a 49-17 Cowboys win.
A lot of work. Group I just left in there was players, staff. A lot of work went into that. That's hard to do, to have those kinds of games. I think I'm pushing close to 700 games in the NFL. So this is hard to accomplish because, boy, everybody's got top players. So I'm really proud of them. I'm proud they've the way the journey's been, and this will be good for us to basically have a win like this, and so really proud of these guys. When I look around the room, there was Leighton. Then you had different guys around the room. All of them got their ups and downs, various degrees. But nobody in that room hadn't dealt with a demon or hadn't dealt with some setback or dealt with that fraud cause success either. So all those guys, when you look around that room, I see a bunch of stories, and it's good to see them have a team that's got this kind of possibility.
What you've seen from this offense, from where you were in the San Francisco game, and the questions about struggling early, where you are offensively since that point to here, what have you seen?
Well, I think that we certainly, our quarterback is playing at a level that allows us to really do what Mike wants to do, what Schottenheimer wants to do, and I think you're seeing that. You're seeing the result of a lot of practice, a lot of reps, seeing the result of a lot of guys figuring it out with each other, and certainly in Dak's case, taking advantage of that. I like the way we're running the ball tonight. We have such respect for the San Francisco run defense. I mean San Francisco, but the Giants run defense. Have a lot of respect for them. So when I see some of the things we did in the run game, I like that. Now I understand how you can get it going, get that score out of kilter, and get to have a different picture than it might have been. But still, that's an impressive win. Everybody expected to come in. I dreaded it. I saw something like Arizona or saw something like that up there because that can happen to a year. But really proud of these guys, proud of Mike. What a birthday present that he gave himself out there. Had it all ready to go.
Yes, a happy belated birthday to Coach Mike McCarthy. A good weekend, and he's probably having a great dinner tonight as the Cowboys did get the win 49-17 as they continue to own the New York Giants 12 in a row against this team, 12 in a row at AT&T Stadium as well. As the Cowboys, Jerry mentioned that Arizona game, the one thing they've consistently done at home over the last 2 years, really under the Mike McCarthy era, outside of the Houston game, they've beaten up on the teams they should.
Yeah. That's something that, and like you say, divisional teams too,
Yes.
right? Whereas another thing that they've I'll tell you what, it's in the way they're playing at home is, it just makes you think that if somehow, some way Dallas could get a home field advantage situation. Now there'll be some tougher teams down, and we'll see how they play, against Seattle coming up. I think the Commanders. I know the Commanders went to Seattle and lost today. Had a chance to win that game, and just once again, Ron Rivera didn't go for two, and they lose in the last minute of the game. I think the Commanders got a lot of skill.
They usually play the Cowboys
They play
tough.
the Cowboys tough, and it's a short week and all that, and so I kind of feel like that. But you got Detroit and Seattle and the Commanders. I mean, Philadelphia coming up. I mean, you got some games.
It's not an easy schedule.
It's going to be
Miami, Buffalo.
I'm talking about the home game.
I see what you're saying.
Can the Cowboys continue to play at such a high level,
right,
in these home games? I mean, they just go out and they manage these games very, very well when they play, and we'll see. Like I say, it's going to be important that you really need to find a way to win them all. You just need to find a way, get yourself the best, find a way to maybe win the division, find a way to get yourself the best possible seeding if it doesn't work, and then go from there.
Yeah, I mean, listening to what you're saying, you're so right. It almost makes the emphasis of the Cowboys needing to win the division and a missed opportunity last week to gain ground. And Philly's got a tough schedule coming up. Maybe they can close it a little.
They do. And they're finding ways to win games but not playing their absolute best. So, we'll see if the Kansas City, where they got Kansas City coming up on there too. I
think they've got Kansas City next. You're right. I
Buffalo, think yeah, and it's funny, but they got San Francisco in that mix too. The Buffalo game and the San Francisco game are at home, where they're going to have to go to Kansas City. So they catch a little bit of break of playing at home. They're a good home team. That crowd's very difficult to deal with, but yeah, find a way. If somehow Philly gets on a little bad streak where they lose 2 or 3 games, you got to be ready to pounce and be right there. You can't have any breakdowns in the schedule or anything like that going forward.
Zach Wolchuk hanging out with the Super Bowl winning scout Bryan Broaddus. Let's head back to the phones, hear from you here on the official postgame show of your Dallas Cowboys after a 49-17 Cowboys win over the Giants. We've got Dirk in Allen. Dirk, how you doing, sir?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing
Good.
fantastic.
Yeah, so just a couple of things super fast. So first of all, I've learned so much about football from Bryan the last 10 years, so I really appreciate everything you do.
Appreciate you being kind about that.
I have, and we've had interactions on Twitter, and those aren't always great, but you're awesome. I really appreciate everything you do. But I kind of wonder, like, when is the end with the Dak narrative? Because it's not just you or anything. It's on your station, including Gavin, who posted today about, you can't blame Dak for throwing a pick there because he's used to his receivers should know he's going to go short of the sticks on third down. He's the best quarterback in the NFL this year on third down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when do we stop with the Dak stuff? I mean, it's getting old. Like Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, all these guys we love so much are turning the ball over at a way higher rate this year. And Dak throws one pick, and we have to diagnoose it in a blowout win.
Look,
I mean,
wait,
No. What are we gonna? When are we gonna stop holding him above guys like that he's supposed to be under?
No,
like,
but the only mistake he made today was the pick. We just brought it up, but everything else we talked about. Do you agree that it was a bad pick today that he threw?
And again, I'm not blaming
No. Just answer the question. Did he throw? Was it a bad pick today? Was it a bad pick? What's that?
I answered the question.
No,
I answered the question.
What did you say? I didn't hear your answer. I'm sorry. I was talking over you, I guess.
Yeah, sure. It's a bad pick. He's thrown bad picks before, just like all these other.
Okay, but that's our job. That's our job to talk about it. That's our job.
It's your job to do that. It's not Gavin's job and people's jobs like that to go on Twitter and say, "Oh, we should be used to that on third down. He throws short of the sticks." He's the best quarterback in the NFL on third down right now. But what are we doing here?
I'm just
hold your coworkers accountable tomorrow then.
Like, I hold absolutely. We all hold each other. No, we do. We get in discussions about this all the time.
We do. We absolutely.
You might, but those two.
I got in a big fight with Gavin at training camp about
Yeah.
Dak. I mean, he talked about Cooper Rush could lead this team to 10 wins, and I said absolutely not. That's disrespectful.
Don't be selective listening then. I mean,
I'm not mad at you, but what I'm saying,
nobody's mad at anybody here. I'm just saying, though, we hold each other accountable.
Like I said, I've learned so much from you the last 10 years about football.
It's a compliment sandwich going on here, I think.
So no, that's a Gavin thing, sir. I'm asking what I'm saying is like, when does it end with that? Just in general, not you in general. When he's held to a higher standard than the guys that we all claim are so much better than he is.
But we talk about, I swear to God, we talk about other quarterbacks throwing interceptions. We do.
No, and I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you don't. I'm asking because I think Dak is playing at a really good level. You guys already talked about that during this postgame show.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
I don't understand.
When do we?
What are you mad at Dawson? Is that what you're saying? It just.
Well, in general, so the flagship of the Cowboys honestly doesn't really talk very highly of Dak ever, and that's fine. It doesn't matter.
I was on DallasCowboys.com, and we don't always talk highly about Dak.
Sure, and that
I mean, trust me, I lived over there for 14 years. But that's what I'm saying.
He's not perfect.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying.
I totally understand it.
We point out the we point out the good play. All we've ever asked is to try and be fair. You know, that's the whole thing.
But that's the thing is, I don't think in general.
You don't think we've been fair?
No, I don't. And I'm not talking. I don't want you to make this about you. And
I'm not making it about me. I work for 105.3 The Fan. I work for DallasCowboys.com. But see, that's what I'm saying. We talk about the good and the bad.
I think you are, for the most part, objective. I don't think overall the narrative, I don't think it is objective. I think it's when they lose, Dak is terrible, and it's whatever.
Right.
He throws a pick in a blowout game. We got to dissect it. It's like,
but that's our job.
And we don't do.
That's our job.
That's your job. Is it Gavin's job to get on?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Twitter
it's all our jobs. Anybody that's on
the
station, it's our jobs. Anybody on the station.
It's Gavin's job to get on. It's Gavin's job to get on Twitter and pretend that Dak sucks. That's Gavin's job.
That's Gavin's Twitter. If you have a problem with him with his Twitter, go at him with that.
But it's Gavin, it's Sean, all those guys do that stuff. And, I'm just asking, what does Dak have to do for that to end?
Win a Super Bowl.
The whole team has to win a Super Bowl?
That's that's what it is, buddy. He's got to win a Super Bowl or it's never going to stop. It's never going to be good enough.
But it's not just Dak, though, right? Can we acknowledge that?
100% we have. I acknowledged it last week after the loss. I'm a diehard fan of this team. I was emotional in the first segment. And it's not just on Dak. Do we want our quarterback to punch that into the end zone to win the game? 100%. Yeah. But his left guard has a false start, right? The sideline is responsible. The head coach is responsible. It's not all on Dak. Right. But in this world that we live in, the quarterbacks are always the ones that are going to take the brunt of the heat. Yeah, and you're right. And Trevor Lawrence has 9 touchdowns to 12 interceptions right now, and nobody's talking about it.
But and that's the thing. And you, like I said, I think this is going too far to the left. You guys are great about that. I'm not saying that you're not. Like I said, Brian's. I love you. I don't know anything about football without you, the last forever. I'm just asking, when does this change? Because, like you said, all these other quarterbacks aren't winning anything. What has Josh Allen done? He played really well in an AFC Championship game, and that's it.
But see, that's the thing about it is you got to get a team.
3 years ago.
But you got to get teams too. What you're from here, right? Are you from Dallas?
Yeah, I grew up. I'm actually from Wichita Falls, but I've grown up in Dallas.
So you understand though where Cowboy quarterbacks who they're compared to. They're compared to Hall of Fame players, championship winning players. You know, that's what they're compared to. That's the standard. That's the standard that we live with.
That is the standard, but on the station, you guys in general, as a station, as sports media in general in Dallas, we complain about the Skip Baylesses, we complain about the Stephen A's. And we do the same thing here in the local radio.
But do you feel like you get your feelings hurt? Are your feelings hurt about this?
No, but we talk about Dak unfairly just like they do. So why do we get on the radio?
We don't. We talk about.
Why do we say?
We break down the interceptions. We break down.
Why do we say Skip or Stephen A is full of it when we kind of do the same thing?
But you know what? We break down what the interceptions are. We break down when he throws an interception.
Do.
No, as a station we do. As a station we do. We talk about when we have Krusty's Corner, whatever. I talk about it, but as a station we talk about, hey, did he see that guy? Did he see that guy?
You do a great job of it. I don't hear the rest of them do. I think Zach and Eric are pretty objective about things as well. Like, I think you guys are great. I'm just saying, I'm just looking for something to change in the narrative of our own station. So, like, the fan base isn't – because it's like the fan base thinks Dak sucks every time a mistake happens.
I appreciate the call, Dirk. I really do. I think it's a good conversation, and you're right. I think that Trevor Lawrence, as I mentioned, he's got 9 touchdowns this year to 12 interceptions and fumbles, but it's not being talked about, and nitpicked like if that were Dak. I hear your point on that, but I can't speak to everybody at the station, but to your point, I feel like we try and be very, very objective for the most part. All right, let's try and pause 10 seconds here for station identification across the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Your turn it on, leave it on. Home of America's team is 105.3 The Fan.
Hello, baby.
KRLD FM and HD1, Dallas Fort Worth.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
All right, we will get more from you, 877-881-1053. Plus, let's hear from C.D. Lamb, the man of the hour, who is with our very own Chris Arnold. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag & Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag & Turf, the official Ag & Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Hey Cowboys fans, it's time to get ready for tailgate season with an official Dallas Cowboys license plate from MyPlates.com. Join the many thousands of fans already driving around with Cowboys pride on their ride. It's a must-have for any die-hard Cowboys fan. MyPlates is also the one-stop shop for all specialty plates in Texas, with over 500 designs to choose from. With Cowboys plates starting from only $50, what are you waiting for? Visit MyPlates.com today. That's MyPlates.com.
Becky Hammond on being the first woman to coach in the NBA.
What if it's no big deal that I'm a woman? What if it's about striving for excellence and being the best me without the label?
It's not about where others say you should be. It's about where you want to go. It's about a financial services company that focuses on your measures of success. Whether it's for your home or business, we offer personalized service and expert advice to help you achieve your unique goals.
Visit swbc.com for financial services without the labels.
Is your workplace on top of its game? For over 100 years, Pollock Aurora has been taking care of business, improving their bottom lines, and helping them grow with proven results that work. And this year is no exception. From keeping the workplace clean to custom packaging to shipping products and office essentials, Pollock leads the way in supplying everything Dallas workplaces need to do what they do. Backed by more than 10 decades of doing things right and moving companies forward, Pollock Aurora is where solved happens. Call 855-239-5153 or visit pollock.com today.
Bell Nunnally has been committed to serving their clients for more than 4 decades. This Dallas-based full-service law firm offers an extensive array of legal services, including championship-level commercial litigation, mergers and acquisitions, real estate, intellectual property, and white-collar criminal defense practices. Whether it's the clients they serve, the cases they win, the people they hire, or the community they build, Bell Nunnally is behind every great company. Go to bellnunnally.com to learn more.
Feeling the urge to get away and slow things down? Bring your trusted teammates to Port Aransas to run out the clock on island time. Everything moves a bit slower in Port A, and that's just how we like it. Come enjoy everything this beach town has to offer. Make the catch of a lifetime in the fishing capital of Texas. Dine at open-air eateries with island delights cooked to perfection. Or simply relax on 18 miles of uninterrupted coastline. Go to visitportaransas.com and get acquainted with the island life.
RJ Choppy here, fucking friends at Hey Number One Air, proud part of the Dallas Cowboys. Do not miss the Super Summer Savings Special. Up to $3,000 off a new heating and AC system. Payments as low as $79 a month. They never charge overtime, not on weekends, not on holidays, not for after hours. Up to $3,000 off a new heating and AC system. Payments as low as $79 a month. 1-800-NEW-COOL. 1-800-NEW-COOL or HeyNumber1Air.com.
Some restrictions apply.
So, my buds and I are at a Buffalo Wild Wings for game day Sunday, and there is football everywhere, except when I blink. I once missed a game-winning TD because of a blink. Been wanting to turn the inside of my eyelids into a B-dubs ever since. You know, wall-to-wall TVs, hot wings, bartender serving me beers, all in my own eyelids. But insurance won't cover it, so I gotta come up with the cash. Well, at least they're still the real Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go Sports Bar.
Please drink responsibly.
It's big, it's good, and it's only for Cowboys fans. It's the Cowboys Special from the Cowboys and Papa John's. Get a large one-topping pizza for only $9.99. That's right, Cowboys fans. Get a large one-topping pizza for only $9.99 every day of the week. It's America's team. It's America's pizza. It's the Cowboys Special. Order today, in person, on the phone, or online. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, the official pizza of the Dallas Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys Pepsi postgame show continues. Pepsi, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Brought to you by
Blockchain.com. Make your crypto play today. Bell Nunnally, attorneys and counselors. United Ag and Turf, the official ag and turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. American Airlines, proud to be the official airline of your Dallas Cowboys. And by Ford, your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.
But instead, it's going to be 4th down and 3 at the Dallas 5. They can get a first down if they cross the 2. 4th and 3. DeVito brings a man in motion, and he will run read option, handoff to Barkley, and he's going to lose a yard. DeMarcus Lawrence and Jonathan Hankins off the bottom of the stack along with Golston, and the Cowboys have forced them to turn it over on downs, and they still lead the Giants 7-0.
Our defensive stand of the game brought to you by Reliant and NRG Company. That came when the score was still 7-0. Dak had just thrown that interception, and the Giants had it 1st and 10 at the Cowboy 12. DeVito threw a pass that was almost intercepted by Wanye Thomas. He had phenomenal coverage. 2nd and 10 from the Dallas 12. Cowboys end up getting a tackle on Barkley for just 2 yards. Then you had a scramble, and then the 4th down and 2 stop right there. Hankins and DeMarcus Lawrence comboing together to make the stop on Barkley.
Boy, Lawrence tagged him on that, too.
Boy, he did.
I mean, Hankins held it up, and then Tank coming down from that left end spot, man, he was great on that. That's Tank plays the run super for that for those edges, man. There you can make coaching reels off the way he plays.
DeMarcus Lawrence, one of the most underrated players in the NFL defensively, and people will still comment on,
how much money he makes.
All about it, because of the sack. And he got a sack today. Yep. But my gosh, you watch him play, and you just appreciate being a well-rounded. Yes, he does everything so well. There's not a weakness to DeMarcus Lawrence's game. Let's hear from some of those defenders that were big today, including Mozzie Smith, who was with our very own Chris Arnold. Here's Mozzie, who really might have had, we'll go back and watch it, but he might have had the best game of his young career today.
Mozzie, stellar performance against the Giants this afternoon. Can you talk about what it was like out there when you guys had that nice lead and it was like some Cowboy football?
Yeah, just try and come out and play Cowboy football, just be physical, play fast, all our calling cards, and just do what we do.
And it looked like you were making some plays out there. You feeling more and more comfortable?
Yeah, game's slowing down. Just got to, I'm excited to be able to hit somebody.
Right.
That's fun, so. I had a good time today.
And finally, what was this locker room like? And everybody came on in. A nice big victory.
We're a winning team, man. We know what it's like. And we know what we got to do. We know we got to go win again. Mm-hmm. It's just 1 week.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good mentality there from the youngster, Mozzie Smith. He knows they got to go do it again next week, noon at Carolina. Of course, you can hear it right here on the Dallas Cowboys radio network and the flagship 105.3 The Fan. Jaron Kearse, one of the more outspoken vocal leaders of the defense, caught up with Chris Arnold as well.
Jaron Kearse, nice solid win against the Giants. Can you sum up this game in a couple of words and how everybody feels?
Dominant performance, and I just feel like we just got out here and did what we were supposed to do. The teams like this that we play against that we know we're supposed to win, we did what we had to do.
That's what I was going to say. Sometimes a team you're supposed to beat, that's when things can sometimes get messy. In fact, it seemed like starting off, okay, they didn't get the touchdown offensively, but then you guys grabbed the control like you normally do.
Yeah, we just go hand in hand. when the offense need to pick us up, they help us. So, that was our chance. They went for it, and we encouraged them to go for it on the 1 yard line because we feel like we're just going to keep these guys backed up, get you guys good field position after a stop, and then you go ahead and do your thing.
Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
J-Ron Kirst there with our very own Chris Arnold. Thanks to CA for doing that. The story of the day, though, certainly, offensively, the defense did what they needed to do, but CeeDee Lamb making history today as he did become, if you just now are tuning in, the first player in the Super Bowl era to have a game of double-digit catches and over 150 yards receiving for 3 consecutive weeks. There's been 8 other players in NFL history who have done it in back-to-back games. He's the first to do it in 3 straight. CeeDee Lamb also catching up with Chris Arnold as well.
CD, according to Dallas Cowboys PR, you became the first player in NFL history with 3 consecutive games of 150 yards and 10 catches. How does that feel?
It's amazing, especially when we come out with a dub. Shout out to the guys. O-line holding up, Dak feeding me, all the receivers opening it up for me, and then, of course, me executing the job. So it's a collective group. Staying blessed, stay humble about it.
Are you in a zone? Do you feel like you're just like in a zone the last month?
Absolutely, and it's not stopping.
Can you talk about your touchdown run? Because nobody saw that coming.
I mean, it was as open as it's been all week. I was very surprised, but, I'll take it.
You talked before the season about how, hey, I didn't have Dak a full season last year, and that you were ready to put up some serious numbers, and that what people thought about you preseason wasn't high enough. Mm-hmm. Now that you're going out here and proving it week in and week out, how does this feel for you?
It's all part of the process. I'm trusting the process, believing in myself and my ability and my teammates. We're going to go in, play the game that we can play, complementary football, defense get us the ball, offense we go score, and I'll lead the way.
What statement are you making about the kind of receiver you are in this league?
I'm one of them ones. I'm the top receiver in this game, and there's no question about it. If there is, I'll see y'all again next week.
We've heard a lot about just you individually these last 4 games in San Francisco, but what this offense overall is doing in that stretch. Can you just talk about the offense you're building among all of you, and then Brandon today coming up with a big game as well?
That was long overdue for Brandon. I couldn't wait to celebrate with him enough. I just finally heard the number. He had like 160. Man, he deserved 200. But man, week in and week out, we go in, we deal with a lot of goods and bads, and in the film room, we know we can always be better. And then, we put out a display of our own, and, it looked good. We got to come out and do it again next week.
Are defensive coordinators trying to stop you, or are they just doing their defenses and you just doing what you do to them? In other words, have you noticed any kind of changes in the way defenses are trying to stop you?
Yeah, they're definitely trying to double me. But once again, Mike's doing a great job of moving me around, keeping me in motion, lining me up on the outside, so I guess you can't really get a beat. So, it's Mike versus the DC at this point.
How unstoppable does this pass attack feel right now?
We're hitting our stride. We're getting in motion right now. I'm happy with it. With these past month, as you can tell, we've been on the road. We just got to keep it going, stay consistent, stay true, be us, and let the rest follow along.
CeeDee Lamb there with Chris Arnold and the rest of the media. A fantastic performance for CeeDee Lamb. And, Bryan, I know when we do the draft process, and it's tough to do, people always want comps. Hey, what's a comp for this player? And when CD was coming out, I think the comp that I thought of was DeAndre Hopkins. And I think right now the way that he's dominating is comparable, almost a faster DeAndre Hopkins, if you will.
Yes, he's a quicker for sure. Yeah, and, but that's the thing about it when you watch guys like Hopkins and CD, and especially with CD and at Oklahoma, and they did a great job of getting him the ball on the move. There were a lot of those 7, 8, 9-yard passes that turned into 79-yard plays just because of CD's ability to get the ball and then get up the field. But his route running, and last year, we were just in a discussion about Dak interceptions and stuff, and there were some interceptions that were on CD for not finishing some routes, and we're not really seeing that as much. We're seeing him finish routes. We're seeing him come back for the ball. We're seeing where there might have been a little gray area where he needed to be. There's no longer that. He's playing with a high IQ. We talked about that early, and Dak's doing a great job of finding him and getting him the football. But yeah, there's been there were some times where he broke inside. Well, why did he go up? He should have been across, but we're not seeing that as much anymore, and I think that's why you're seeing so many big plays.
All right, we will put a bow on this one, look ahead to Carolina, plus give you the player of the game coming up next. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Tom Thumb's new Drive Up and Go service makes grocery shopping easy and convenient.
Prescott on second down and goal. Back. So he's got all day. Left side of the end zone. Brandon Cooks. Touchdown. Third of the year for Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks, our player of the game, brought to you by Jack Black. Want to use what the pros use? Jack Black is the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit getjackblack.com today. Brandon Cooks, 9 catches, 173 yards to lead the Cowboys, a touchdown on 10 targets, 37 yards, his longest grab of the season. And our buddy Nick Harris of DallasCowboys.com sharing Brandon Cooks on his touchdown catch. Quote, "That's just a throw right there. Dak trusting in me and me going up there and making the play for him." And Brandon Cooks, who is the ultimate professional, we've known that this was potentially going to happen. We just were wondering when. And today, finally, he broke out in a big, big way.
No, they found ways to get him the ball. But like we've said before, when you study the games, he's a guy that gets open. But they've found Ferguson. They found there's been some balls that have gone to Gallup. There's been a lot of balls that have gone to Lamb, and rightfully so. And just today that, when you get rewarded for continually running your routes. I think they've had some bad combinations. I mentioned last week in the game, he's running that deep crossing route, and here's Tony Pollard out in the flat, and he trying to find space inside. What's he do? He collides with Cooks. Now Dak can't get Cooks the ball right there, which was a possibility where maybe they could have scored something right there. So I think today there was a little bit cleaner game for him. And as far as the routes go, he's always going to find ways to get open. He's going to find ways to separate. And I wouldn't be surprised if he is, as the season continues to go along, that he has more games like this today.
I'm with you. 877-881-1053. Always the number to be part of the conversation. Zach Wolchuk alongside Bryan Broaddus from the Miller Lite Club after a Cowboys 49-17 win over the Giants. We've got a lot of people on hold. We got to be quick about this because we're pushed up against it, but I want to go back to the phones. Taco in Denton. Taco, what's going on, homie?
Man, look, we need to get my guy Rico Dowdle the rock. Tony Pollard, he's got Felix Jones vibes. And Felix Jones, he's not a number one back, and that's what Pollard is. He's not a number one back. Rico knows how to run the ball. He finishes. He puts that left foot in the turf. He got upfield, got an extra 10 yards. He knows how to run the football, and that's who we need in the backfield the majority of the time. Thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate it, Taco.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously the line is whereas last year Pollard was able to explode to and through the holes. We just haven't seen that this year from him.
All right, let's go to Benjamin in D.C. Benjamin, what's going on?
Good evening, guys. How you guys doing?
Good, man.
Actually wanted to say, I was going to say, actually, I think Pollard showed like more of like when he was like busting through in between the tackles, he was breaking some tackles again, because that's really the difference, I think, from this year and last year. He was breaking tackles. He would break tackles, bounce it outside. I just think it's a trust and confidence thing with Pollard. I think he'll be all right, though, if you just keep grinding and keep grinding. But what I wanted to ask you guys is, do you think that this is how it's going to look? Like, can we sustain this, or is it just because it was the Jets?
Because it was the Giants.
Giants.
Yeah. Appreciate the call there, Benjamin. I mean, the opponent,
they moved the ball against Philadelphia.
They did.
Week.
Like I think offensively, we can expect this from the passing attack.
Sure, absolutely. As long as you keep the quarterback, as long as he can move around the pocket a little bit, buy some time. Tyron Smith continued to play at a high level. The center looked like he did a much better job today. Steele didn't have any problems on the outside. So yeah, it takes all of them to make it work. But you've got several guys playing at a very, very high level, including the quarterback.
All right, let's go to Shane in Canton. Shane, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Fantastic, man.
So, I'm just curious. Is this team, and I know we're good. I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. You cut me, I'm going to bleed blue. But is this team really that good, or did the Giants just kind of roll over? Their season is over now, But I just kind of have that feeling while we're in this 3-game stretch, we're going to beat these teams. Sure. So it's kind of hard to enjoy it, after knowing what we've already done against San Francisco and Philly. So are we going to be able to hang in there with this next 4-game stretch with the Seahawks and, the Eagles? And so what do you guys think? Are we elite, or are we just rolling over these teams?
No, you're beating the teams you have to beat right now, and you need to figure out a way. You were goal to go situation with the chance to beat the Eagles, and you didn't get it done because of some of your own mistakes, your own penalties, maybe some of the stuff that was coming from the sidelines. You didn't handle that situation very well. I think that's the thing. I think this team is good enough, but when they get in their own way, they're not very good.
Right.
They could beat anybody in the National Football League if they play the way that they're capable of playing, which we saw today. It ain't about the Giants or anybody else. It's about themselves, because they had a chance to beat the Philadelphia Eagles the other day with no running game, and they couldn't get it done.
Absolutely.
That's the thing you need to worry about.
And they'll get a chance to prove, hey, are they in the elite tier in the NFC, that you're going to play Seattle, you're going to play Detroit, you're going to play some of these teams that are considered good quality opponents. And if you beat them, then yeah, you can have that conversation again. And then we'll see what happens in the postseason. Last call as we're up against it, JK and Prosper. JK, what's up, man? We talked to you earlier. Are you calling back?
Yeah, man. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened to my phone, but I appreciate you guys getting me back on. Hey, look, first of all, it's kind of an insult to our intelligence that they suddenly, after McCarthy takes a bunch of heat and gets Cooks involved today. Are you telling me that every team has taken him away prior to today? So I'm glad to see it. But his little I don't do fantasy football, and then all of a sudden Cooks goes out and has a Cowboys career day, best his day for Cowboys, is a little insulting. But, hey, I'm glad they got him going. Look, I'm a net guy. At the end of the day, Dak's been here long enough that we just need to look at it as net results. Year 2, year 3 for Dak, we could say, well, we don't like the play calling. Well, the O-line, this. Look, this franchise has committed to being Dak friendly. This franchise has changed play callers. They've done everything to help Dak, and the net of it is he doesn't win the big games. I'm not saying he never will, but to this point in his, 8th year, he hasn't won the big games. So all these guys that want to call in and defend Dak and tell you guys to quit being so critical or sarcastic or whatever that guy was saying earlier about Gavin, you guys are in fact, I think you guys have tried extra hard to be fair to Dak and point out his good points. And yes, when it's a game like this, he goes out and smashes it.
I don't mean to cut you off, but we do have a hard out to get to, and I think
thank you for your call.
You're dropping a lot of good points there,
yep,
brother, and I appreciate you. Yep. But yeah, I mean, I think that comes with the territory of being a Cowboys quarterback. Dak Prescott knows that better than anybody. And until ultimately you win a championship, which is the standard for the elite quarterbacks that have worn the star, you're not going to get a pass on anything. I mean, that's just how it goes. Did get a text about the penalties. Yes, Cowboys only had a penalty in the first half, finished with 9 for 83 on the game. Things did start to get a little bit ugly there, but overall I think they've been a pretty clean team here lately as well. We'll be back next week. Thank you so much to Peyton, to Ross, to Chris, to Ruben out here, Tim Collins, Gavin Spittle, to my partner Bryan Broaddus.
Thank you,
Always
sir.
a pleasure being a part of this thing with you. We'll do it again next week against Carolina, and that'll be a noon kick, 9 a.m. Post will go till 6 o'clock. Until then, you are listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. When I got into this business, I used to make flavored vodka infusions for my friends as gifts. When I started to make a go of it, the owner of a local liquor store showed me the dust on some flavored vodka bottles that sat on the shelves. He said, if you can make a straight vodka so smooth that you could drink it just by itself, then you'd really have something. So I did. And now all these years later, we still only make one flavor, vodka flavored vodka.